to this edition of Kevin's Garage, my ongoing journey as a novice to build my Factory 5 Roadster. And I have one of my novice assistants here. This is Brady to help me today. I'm sure he's going to add a lot of value. So what are we going to be doing today? Well, today we're really starting on the brake lines. So I'm going to do the flexible lines for the front brakes first, then the flexible lines for the back brakes, fit all the brackets, etc. Talk you through that process, and then we'll start the process and fit the hard lines for the brakes. Then we'll end up with the reservoirs, and we'll fit the whole thing together. So let's see how we get on. Okay, so the first thing we're doing is taking our little bracket here, and we're fitting it somewhere to the chassis so we can actually take our flexible line and join it from here, the brake caliper, to here. And you know, that looks as though it'll work, and you've got to obviously keep it out of the way of all of the workings of the front suspension. So I've seen this done two ways, either maybe coming out like this or vertical, and I think just based on my setup today, I think vertical's probably going to work the best for me. So I'm thinking somewhere here. So it's got, okay, so our attachment bracket is in place. So now we just take what's called our brake line adapter, push that through from the outside, and then there's a little clip, and I'll show you this at the moment, and there's a little groove behind the inside attachment. So I'm just going to take my little nylon hammer and tease that into place. Tease being the appropriate word, I think. There you go. I think that went in. A little. Perfect. So I think you can see that. Maybe I'll just take you behind the scenes at the end with the Kevin cam, and we can see exactly how that fits, but that's where it is. Okay, so the next stage is to take our flexible brake lines. You can see one end is almost like a coaxial aerial fitting. That's the one that goes on here, and the other end is like got a hole in the middle, like a polo mint, and that goes is attached inside the brake caliper here with this bolt. So importantly, what you need to do is to use one of the included flat washers on either side of this attachment, like so, and then just tighten it behind. And again, I'll show you this with Kevin cam in a moment. So just finger tight is fine at this point. Right, that's just finger tight, and then you take the brake line and just finger tight that to the attachment. All right, so there you have it. So it's nice and neat. Maybe I'll just show you with Kevin cam now. Let's just pick this up. Okay, so let's use Kevin cam to go and have a look behind the scenes. Now, as you can see the line, if I just come around here, obviously around the back of the brake caliper, you can see that is the, oh, no, you can't see. Where's the camera? Oh, the camera's here. There's the nut that I've just inserted here with the washers. And then I come back round, and obviously you can see that's the line. So keeping this well out of the way of all of the mechanics. And then if you go round at the back, you can see there's the little fitting that I just showed you. All right, so it looks good. Let's go and do the other side. Okay, so we're back on Kevin cam. We've now completed the back brakes as well. So you can see we followed exactly the same process. you can see there is the bracket and the attachment riveted in exactly the same way with exactly the same 3/16 hole and 3/16 rivets. You can see there's the flexible brake line, and here's exactly the same attachment to the brake caliper. One quick look around the top. As you can see, I put a T-junction on this one as well. So both T-junctions, both the front and the back, are on the left-hand side. This one's actually pointing down because that's going to go right to the front to connect up to the brake line master cylinders. So there you have it. Just have a quick look around here. Oh, there's Brady. Hi, Brady. Still helping, still adding value, and exactly the same on the right at the back as well. The only thing to do is to then torque down these bolts. These are just tightened. These are torqued down to 29 pounds-foot. So there you have it. So let's move on to the next piece. So now we're going to start to measure up and fit the hard brake lines. I have to be honest, as a complete novice, this is one of the things I was probably a little nervous about. So I'll show you what my sort of plan is. So here's one of your 3/16 brake lines. When you get your hard lines in your kit, they all come in a tube, and there's 3 different sizes. So these are the smallest ones. These are the 3/16. The 2 larger ones are for your fuel lines. So what I decided to do was make myself a template. So you can see I've got a piece of wire here, pretty flexible. Oh, sorry, car. Pretty flexible, but also stiff enough to hold its shape. And I'm going to use that, which is an exact same size as the brake line, to form like a template. So I'm going to fit this first. I'm going to do the front brake lines. I'm going to fit this where it's supposed to go. Then I'll show you what I've done, how easy it was to bend, and then I'll show you me attempting to actually bend my first brake line, and we'll see how we get on. All right, so back in a minute. Okay, so let's go to Kevin Cam and take a quick look to see what we've done. So over here, you can see that's where we started at the T-junction. Then we went across the 1/4-inch part of the chassis, then down the vertical, and then we went straight across the middle. Again, just secured with a bit of painter's tape, up the other side, and then secured to that attachment point. So if we just come out, we can see that's what it looks like. So now let's see if I can reproduce that in the brake line. Let's have a look. Okay, so let's take a quick look to see how we got on. So you can see the brake line here looks pretty similar to the template. If you remember, this is what we used as our template. So you can see it's oh, let's go around. Which way around is it? It's this way around, yes. So it's very, very similar to what we produced. So I think that model worked well, so I'll keep using that. So I've just roughly fitted it now, just marked 2 little holes there, which are just going for these little insulated clips, and we will use a 3/16 rivet to fill that in. So I'm just going to drill those holes. I've just put a center punch in, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. All right, let's have a quick go. Okay, so let's go to Kevin Cam to take a look at where we ended up. So you can see here we've got the attachment to the front passenger side, and then we see the follow the line down across the round pipe on the chassis here. We just attached it with the two clips, and then we go back up over here and we attach to the T on this side. Okay, so that's all done and tightened. And then looking at what we are going to be fitting next, then we've gone from the T. This is the dummy in my flexible wire that I've put in as my template, and that just goes around the outside, a quick loop, and goes to the master cylinder. Right, so let's go and fit that one. All right, so now we're moving on to the flaring tool. I just picked up myself what's called a double flaring kit, and what we're actually creating is a double flare, which is actually just what's on the end of this one that we've just cut off. So you've got the kit, you've got the first, the base piece in the kit. Very important to make sure that you really tighten this up so that the pipe cannot move, and you set the pipe just to protrude out about the same thickness as this little wheel, which you then put into the end of the device. Then you take the compressor part of the tool, just pop it over there, feed it into, and just basically ratchet down. Make sure that the vise is nice and thick. Stick. Until it won't go any further. And just feel the starting to create the flare. Oh, pulled it out of the vise. Let me just set that back in there. Right, so once that's in far enough, you can just take off the tool, take the little cap off, and then you put the flaring device back on, and then you pop it into, just directly into the end of the pipe, and then you just tighten that up, and that's what creates the second part of the flare. All right. I think that feels as though it's gone. Let me just take this out, and we'll have a look to see how we did. Oh, there you are. There you are, a nice double flare. So we'll just have a look at that and see if it all works. Perfect. Looks good. Alrighty. Okay, so with Kevin Cam, let's take a look at where we've ended up. Now the brake lines are in, so you can see we start at the front. We go down, attached a couple of points to the round part of the chassis, and then up over here to the T, and then we join, carry on up the 1-inch cross member, end up over here at the far side at the master cylinder, and that fitted in quite nicely. You can see then, if we start then at the second master cylinder, that goes down here, down underneath. What I've done underneath, I think you can just about see, is I've just attached it, and that was a joint there. I've just attached it with a couple of pieces of tape for now, because I've got to put the other aluminum panels in, and then goes up to the back. Another T right here. There you can see the T, and then we just go across a couple of loops, and then we are done over here. All right, so let's just sort of summarize a couple of the key learnings. Okay, so let's just talk about a couple of lessons learned through installing the brake lines. Firstly, this was the last template that I used. So I think I had like varying degrees of success, but I think the wire was useful because it enabled me as a novice to sort of really bend it around and get a feel as to what I was eventually going to look like, and that certainly helped me in the process. I would say that the bending tools, I found them useful. These were the two that I used. And I think again, it's just take your time, mark and double mark, and really just take it nice and smoothly, and you'll find that the wire and the lines do bend pretty smoothly. The other thing that I used, and we did this at the build school, is if you just put two different size sockets, one taller one lower one, then you can actually create the wheels that you need, or the circles, which I know are valuable for removing air pockets. So I did this a couple of times, and it worked quite well. I did have to do a couple of cuts, so this double flaring tool I found useful. It was actually much easier to use than I remembered from the build school, so that was a good part of the process too. But overall, I have to say, although it was a little intimidating at first, I think that it worked pretty well. One thing that I haven't done is I've not secured all of the lines yet, because I've still got some aluminum to fit. So I'll show you when it's finished in a later episode. All right, so next we're going to move on to fitting the brake reservoir. So I have 3 to fit, so I need to make a little bracket, so we'll get on and do that right now. So what we're going to do now is we're going to fit the brake reservoirs. Here we are. I have 3 of these. I've already made a bracket just out of a piece of aluminum. I've got 3 because I've got not only have I got 2 brake reservoirs, obviously for the brakes, front and back, but I've got a separate reservoir for the hydraulic clutch as well. I know that you can split them, but I just wanted to have the 3. I just certainly didn't want to split the brakes, and I just think that it's quite a nice a traditional look I'm going for as well. So the only piece of preparation I've got to do first is I've got to take the lid off the final reservoir. You see, you've just got this rubber seal that you have to pop inside the lid. Not too bad. You just need a little flat screwdriver just to make sure that you get it under the threads. Just do that. Just a little awkward at the end. I think that's about all right. Yep, that's right, perfect. And just pop that on. So there you go. And then just have to put the little elbow that actually takes the brake hose. Just pop that in. Just tighten that up with a 7/16. It's got to be okay. All right, so there are 3 reservoirs are prepared, and you can see this is what they'll look like when they're in the bracket. I'll just fit on top just like that. So I've got all the rest of the fittings all set out, got the 3 hoses, so let's go and fit it to the car. Okay, so let's look as to where we're going to fit our reservoirs. So the recommendation from the build school or car camp was just about here, and you can keep it sort of right level with the top of the 3/4 inch tube, and do the usual fitting. Obviously I've put the same spacing in for the rivets. I'll put a bead of silicone, drill the holes, fit that, and then we can put the tubing through here and connect to the master cylinders. So that's the plan. So let's get that fitted and we'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so that went fairly well. You can see nice equal spacing of rivets on the bracket at the back, silicone like with all the other pieces of aluminum, and then we have the finished cylinders. So I've got one for front, back, brakes, and the hydraulic clutch. So all we've got to do now is we've just got to connect to the rubber hosing through here. I'm just waiting for a grommet to come for this space, and then we can attach it to the master cylinder. Right, so that's what we'll do next. Okay, so what we're going to do now is to start fitting the hoses between the reservoirs to the master cylinder. So I'll just need to attach this straight on here. That's nice and easy. Put the little clip on. Just tighten that up. Okay, I'll tighten that in a second. And then this one, I'm just actually going to feed it through the hole in the driver's foot box. Actually, it's already a nice prepared hole. There's no sort of edges on there, and I actually don't need that hole. I'll show you later for the clutch, because I've got a hydraulic clutch. So the clutch cable will come down further down here. So exactly the same process. Just push that on, and then move the clip into place, nice and neat, and then just tighten that down. Okay, so you can make those nice and secure. That looks good. Recheck this one. A little bit tighter. And there we are, good to go. Out of the way of all the mechanisms, so I'll just fit the other two, and then we'll come back on Kevin Cam and take a look. Okay, so we're going to take a quick look on Kevin Cam. You can see, if I just come back a little, that all of the hoses are now connected to the bottom of the cylinders, which is great. And then we come and have a look down at the top. Where am I now? Oh, there we are. Yes, if we have a look at the top, you can see they all come in, connected to the master cylinders. So we're all set up there, and you can see obviously all the brake lines are now finished, as I showed you earlier. So while we have Kevin Cam, I'll just take a quick look back, and we can see how the various lines come in. We can see this line goes down to the front, and then this one goes down to the bottom. You can see we've got various clips securing the lines. They weren't done before. Let's see if I can get underneath here quickly, and you can see yes, just come out a little bit, that the line traces back, and then it's clipped underneath the car. So I think that we are all complete in terms of, oh, let me just get up, in terms of brake lines. So let me just turn the camera around. Okay, so that's it for this edition of Kevin's Garage. So hopefully we've got all the brake lines in place. All I've got now to do on the master cylinders is to finish off the attachment for the hydraulic clutch. And then next episode, I believe we're going back to the aluminum panels. So, all right, so if you're enjoying this video series as the novice stumbles through building the Factory 5 Roadster, then please like and subscribe. All right, take care.